What's up guys, my name's Rising, and in my last video where I talked about the Evergreen State of COD Mobile, you guys left a ton of thoughts in the comments, and many of you even approached me personally to share your own opinions, and I really appreciated that you guys did that. I'm glad the video reached a wider audience, but more than that, I loved the fact that most of you didn't just blindly agree with me, you actually brought your own perspectives into the conversation. However, there was one particular point I made that most of you connected with, and that was the lack of grindable content. Now keep in mind, I'm not saying there's no content at all, because yes, every season we get updates, we get patch notes, we get a new gun, we get 5 or 6 draws, sometimes even multiple mythic reduxes in a single season. But what I'm talking about is grindable content, meaningful content, content that is actually worth spending time grinding for, something that has a real impact on how we engage with the game long term. Because lately, the only consistent new content we're getting revolves around skins, lucky draws, and of course, mythic drops. And I'm not complaining about that. Every live service game does it, and a lot of players genuinely enjoy and support the game through those purchases. I have no issue with that. But when you really sit back and think about it, especially with a new season coming up alongside a ranked reset, you have to ask yourself, what are we actually grinding for? Because every season, the only true new gameplay addition revolves around one singular weapon, just one gun. And don't get me wrong, I love new weapons. I enjoy testing them, making guides around them, seeing where they fit in the meta, and building the most optimal setups for you guys. That part is genuinely fun for me. But realistically, that excitement lasts maybe a week. Sometimes we do get new lethals, tacticals, or even score streaks like the one coming this season, and I'll definitely give them credit for that, but it's been a long time since we've seen things like new signature attachments for older weapons, new perks or reworks for that matter, or any major system-level additions. Weekly challenges barely reward anything meaningful, and there's no real long-term progression expansion to work toward. So after that initial week of seasonal hype, the new weapon just becomes another option in the rotation. Now let's talk about ranked, as many of you had mentioned the ranked mode in that video. In a couple of days, everyone's going to be sweating again. The first day of reset is chaotic as always. I might not grind instantly because I'll be working on gun guides and breakdowns, but after a week or so, I'll probably be pushing 2 as always. For the average player though, you push through Pro, Master, Grandmaster, and if you're consistent, you hit Legendary within a matter of days. And then what? That's the part nobody really talks about. Once you reach Legendary, there's no evolving incentive structure beyond leaderboards if you decide to push further. There's no layered reward track, no unique seasonal camo for top performers apart from a calling card that most people won't even use, and no dynamic ranked challenges that refresh weekly to keep things interesting. You grind using meta weapons, you climb faster than your friends, you hit Legendary early, and then it's basically like, okay, now what? Of course, there's the group of players who grind weapon mastery or push for top 5,000, but realistically, that's a very small percentage of the total player base. It doesn't represent the core community, and it definitely doesn't represent the casual audience. Casual players aren't spending all day in ranked. They log in during their free time looking for something engaging to work toward. Most players want something consistent, something layered, something that pulls them back every week. That's what weekly challenges were meant to be, and I genuinely think that system had huge potential if it had been structured properly. I might even make a separate video entirely focused on how a well-designed weekly challenge system could actually refresh the game's engagement cycle. Now, credit where it's due, they did introduce tournament mode on weekends, and I actually think that was a solid idea, especially at the beginning. Climb 100 points, unlock camos, play a limited time competitive mode during a limited window, that's a good concept. But here's the issue, you can hit 100 points in 8 or 9 games. That's maybe 2 hours for most players. After that, you're done for the weekend. Yes, there's a leaderboard system attached to it, but realistically, how many people are truly invested in climbing that? Again, it's not like they're not trying to give us something to grind, it just feels like the grind comes in very small portions that get completed almost immediately. And in my eyes at least, that's where the real issue lies. COD Mobile doesn't lack content, it lacks depth. There's a fine line between content and meaningful progression. Content is, here's a new gun every season. Meaningful content is, here's a system that keeps you engaged for weeks. Now, I don't want to go off topic, but I think that this fits perfectly here. Because if you look at mainstream COD titles, they've had prestige systems where you reset your level, climb again, and unlock unique, visually impressive rewards that required serious dedication. You logged in not just because there was a cosmetic, but because there was a progression system you didn't want to fall behind on. Of course, even that system had flaws. Too much content can create FOMO, so there has to be balance. But right now in COD Mobile, the seasonal cycle feels predictable. Season drops, ranked resets, everyone checks the new gun, some players spend on draws, first week is hype, and then it plateaus. Mid-season contents rarely introduce gameplay depth, mostly just more cosmetics. Meanwhile, players are completing content faster than ever. The average skill level is higher, grind efficiency is higher, YouTube guides drop within hours, and meta builds are solved almost instantly. So if the content structure isn't layered properly, it gets consumed immediately.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. From a business perspective, skins and mythic drops are absolutely content. They generate revenue, they keep the ecosystem alive, and they ensure the game doesn't shut down. But monetization content is not the same as engagement content. One keeps shareholders satisfied, the other keeps players invested. And when those two aren't balanced well, that's when people start saying things like the game feels dry or the game is dead. Personally, this might not hit me the same way because I always have something to work on, like uploads, builds, analysis, but the average player doesn't. If the answer to what am I working toward this week is simply wait for next season, that's not a strong, long-term engagement model. I've seen a lot of people asking for a ranked overhaul, and honestly, I'd support that. Ranked hasn't seen meaningful structural changes in a very long time. We do have plenty of maps in the game, yet the ranked pool is hard capped. And if you want to play a different mode in a different map in public matches, you'll be thrown into a bot lobby. Even a simple map pool refresh could make things feel new again. Because right now, the foundation is strong. The gunplay feels very good with a plethora of strong options in the current meta. The movement is smooth with improved animations each season. The game runs decently well and optimized in most devices, at least for multiplayer. It just needs stronger reasons for players to stay invested beyond cosmetics. So the real question isn't whether COD Mobile is dying or whether the developers don't care, it's whether the current content structure is built for long-term engagement or if we're just cycling through seasonal hype bursts. But with all that, I'm genuinely curious how you guys feel about this. Normally, when ranked resets, do you grind for the experience or for something tangible at the end? And after you hit Legendary, what keeps you playing even if there's no reward to grind for? Just let all those in the comments down below. This wasn't meant to be overly structured, I just wanted to sit down and get these thoughts out before the new season drops and I dive back into gun guides again. Also, I hope you enjoyed some Black Ops 7 gameplay here in the background. I was trying out the Season 2 Mosh Pit playlist and thought I'd switch things up a bit instead of using regular COD Mobile gameplay like I usually do in my gun guides. If you enjoy these deeper discussions, let me know what topics you'd like me to talk about next. I'm still experimenting with this format, so I'm always open to suggestions. And as always, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe for future content, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.